Hi Kiwi! Alright, we are officially back at Celeste, and we're gonna go ahead and hunt through this chapter to find all the things we need. So we saw that the cassette tape is in the chapter 3 section, but I'm pretty sure we need to find a crystal or a different gem from the crystal heart to unlock every single section. Now, full disclosure, I did end up looking up where some of these were, because I really want to try the B-side, and I don't have the patience to go hunting through hunting for 7 different things and then accidentally walking past them. For example, I have a little bit of a clip of me bypassing the first one and then bypassing it 2 more times, and that was kind of the point at which I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna use a guide for this. But the B-side will be entirely blind like usual. For collectathons like this, I just don't want to get stuck looking for something the whole time. That's not where I find my fun in these games. I do enjoy the search to a degree, but if it goes too long, I get burnt out pretty quick. You know, the instant gratification sort of side of me needs to be fed. Oops. Almost didn't make that. But we're already almost through the first section. And as far as today's conversation topic, I'm going to continue rambling about Fire Emblem Three Houses, because of course I am. Now, in the last episode, I kind of rambled about all of the Black Eagle characters and my opinions on them. And so I figure I'll just kind of cycle through the houses and talk about each character and what impact they've had on my opinions of them. Anyway, this is the thing that I kept bypassing. I kept grabbing that purple eye and missing this gem. But there we go. Oh, and don't be surprised if there's a fair bit of cutting through this episode, because I'm sure that's not going to be the only time I accidentally skip something. But I digress. So, I guess technically a member of the Black Eagle's house, if you want to call it that, is JERALT. I may as well talk about him first, because he's a special boy. He's a very special boy with murder on the mind. I do quite like his connection to Mercedes, but between his strangely deep voice and his personality quirk, shall we call it, where he just turns into Murder Boy, I don't know if he's my favorite character. That said, we have both, as a unit, enjoyed him very much. I mean, when he comes to you as a DLC character, he has all that DLC privilege. His stats are insane. And the thing about JERALT, the reason why we initially liked him was because of how he was voiced in the DLC. Or not the DLC, in Three Hopes. His voice acting was just kind of so... It doesn't fit his baby face very well, I would say. But more than that, I don't know, it's just that inconsequential. It's deep and slow, and I don't know, especially, I think the big thing is the voice direction for Emil/JERALT in Three Hopes was very different from that of Three Houses, and you can really hear it most of all with JERALT. And so JERALT was your main in Three Hopes because you unironically, or entirely ironically, loved his voice. So we just rolled with it, you know? Cool. Got that on the... Was that the first try on that room? It might have been the second, but pretty close, if not. But in terms of character writing, like, he's funny, to a degree. But I've never been a huge fan of the murder boy trope that he is perpetuating. Oh, there's a little crack in the ground over here. I think this is where... Well... I know that's where the crystal heart is. I recognize that spot. So, or not the crystal heart, the thing we're looking for. There we go. Yep, see, there it is, the gem right there. I think we were, based on how it's faded out, I think I found this last time too. But that's fine. I panicked. I could have gotten that first try. Oops. Anyway, so what was I saying? So, yeah, we like Yuritsa for his voice, and he's a bit of a gag character, to be honest, which is kind of weird considering he is, like, the threatening murder character, but the fact that he has, like, 4 character interactions, or 4 support logs altogether, and one of them is with Bernadetta, says everything you need to know about how they view him as a kind of comedy character, almost, which is just, it's so weird to call him a comedy character, but with all that said, though, I like that he likes, he has, like, a huge sweet tooth and likes cats as well. He falls vaguely into the murder muffin category, but I don't think entirely. And with, I would hope to say, fair reason for that feeling. But still, fun character to make fun of for the way he is, I suppose. So why don't we move on to the Blue Lion's house then? Starting with our Noodle-boy, mozzarella-haired boy, or I don't know. I can't tell if I think his hairs look like noodles or if his hair looks like mozzarella sticks, but like not breaded mozzarella sticks, just like string cheese kind of mozzarella sticks. But Dimitri, I have mixed opinions about Dimitri. I do really like his character, and I think his character arc is very interesting, particularly in the Blue Lions campaign. Mind you, I don't fully remember it, but because I'm mostly running on my memory from the... I had a brief moment of, did I grab the thing? But I definitely grabbed the thing. I got the gem. Ooh, barely made that. Anyway, I don't really remember him very well from my Blue Lions playthrough, but I do appreciate he seems kind of like the less extreme muscle head that Raphael. He seems like a less extreme muscle head, comparable to Raphael almost. In that regard, he's awkward. He doesn't always understand things. I really appreciate that he likes Aloise's jokes. Like he actually finds Aloise funny, which few people do. And, I don't know, he just seems kind of like this awkward, for lack of a better word, he's a bit of a goober. He's a goofball. And I appreciate him for that. It's nice, it's sad to see that's what he becomes after he transitions into edgelord. Also, for anyone familiar with his design in 3 Hopes, please refute the argument that his coat, or no, his scarf with all the little white dots on it does not look like a gray or bluish strawberry, because I cannot unsee that after having had it pointed out to me by Kiwi. It really does look kind of like, or pretty substantially like, a strawberry. And I can never unsee that now. Thanks, Kiwi. I actually think it's hilarious that it looks that way, to be honest, but, you know. Oh, darn it. I thought I had it. Alright, Dedid? I really like Dedid. At least in terms of what I remember of him from the free time skip in the Black Eagles campaign. Aside from his fierce loyalty to Dimitri, which I also respect, I really like him because he just seems like a really like home economics kind of focused guy. He likes to craft. He likes to. Oh, is this something? Oh, I remember this. This isn't where the crystal is. What if I don't actually quite remember where the crystal is, Kiwi? Well, I better remember before it's too late, I suppose. Oh, not sure what I did there, but I sure did mess it up. But Dedid seems like a cool guy to hang out with. Like, I think we would get along with him very well. He also kind of falls into the Muffin Club that I've mentioned before. Alright, we got back to where we came from in pretty quick time. So I believe what I need to do is go through this bubble on the right. You can see there's a little crack in the wall over here, and there's our secret, plus a strawberry. Alright, So now I just need to figure out how to get to what I'm aiming for, which I'm going to assume... Oh, I see another crack in the wall. Here we are. Okay, perfect. And there's our gem. So one more puzzle and we're good. Anyway. Oh, I missed. Oh well. Curious that they made the death plane there just all spikes instead of the usual hit trap of death, but I respect it. Do what you want. Anywho, so Felix. Oh my goodness. Felix is a lot. He's kind of a jerk, but he's a fun jerk. All he cares about is getting stronger. And he puts his goals ahead of others pretty clearly. The way he kind of bites at his childhood friends between Ingrid, Sylvain, and Dimitri. And then on top of that, I mean, his support log with Bernadetta is hilarious. The way he pursues her because she freaks out and basically flips him, or like disarms him and flips him pretty much. The fact that he entices Bernie to try and, or entices himself to try. The way Bernie effectively just taking him out gets him to be super interested in her is pretty funny to me. I don't think I would even come close to shipping them, though. I feel like Felix is a bad time for Bernadetta. Granted, most people are, but I do like that she kind of has a better control of her anxiety after the time skip. They say time heals all wounds, and obviously she's still dealing with things, but she seems to be doing better for herself, which I think is, which I'm glad for. But yeah, Felix is a hilarious jerk, and we love watching him interact with people and like be that jerk that he is. But I do think he has a sympathetic side to him too. We just haven't seen much of it because we haven't really done any of his support logs with the blue lions yet. Ashe is a good boy. Born a thief, or spent his childhood a thief, and now uses his knowledge from that time to help others. I also very much appreciate that the reason why he had that transition to good boy was because he was caught stealing a book that he wanted to read. I feel like that was a character trait that you very much would have appreciated, or that you very much did appreciate, rather, Kiwi. So, yeah, Ashe is a good guy with a tough start, but a good finish, I'll say. Stat-wise, he's unfortunately a bit disappointing. We're still using him though because we're playing this more to see the character interactions than the stat boosts. If we need people to kill things, we have Edelgard and Yuri for that, who are just our absolute units. Okay then. Sylvain is an interesting one. And I'm glad you agreed with me that, like, he is more nuanced than just the womanizing jerk that he initially, like, comes off as. He's definitely that, and there's nothing that can really forgive his behavior. He's hurt people. He is definitely hurting people, and you shouldn't forgive him just because his motivations for hurting people are more complicated than just he likes to hurt people, or he is a misogynistic womanizer, which he is. There's no getting around that. But at least there's a layer of nuance to the origin of those feelings, namely his relationship to crests and the system of crests as a whole. He resents what his family put him through and the value his family saw in him over his brother because he was born with a crest. And now he has a bit of a complex that people only have interest in him because he has that crest. So, yeah, he still treats women terribly. There's no denying that. But I do find it interesting the origin of how he views, how he got that way, if that makes sense. And again, we're lacking, we're lacking support logs with him because we really just have not used him as a unit very much at all. So I'll leave it at that for now, and maybe I'll come back to this conversation topic at some point to talk more about them as a whole. Next up, Annette. Annette is such a muffin. She is absolutely part of Team Muffin Squad. And her friendship with Mercedes is very sweet. We would absolutely bake for Annette if she were a friend in real life. There we go. Okay. So, okay, I see. So, anyway, Annette is such a muffin, and Mercedes is a good, what's the word? Mercedes is a good friend to her. In terms of things to comment on Annette, beyond that, it's also just a matter of, I feel like we would get along with her very well. She's definitely the more, like, bookish sort, which, if I'm not, which I am, you certainly are, Kiwi. Like, okay, we're both bookish, but you are super bookish. I guess that's a very nice way of calling you a nerd. I'm proud of you, my nerd girlfriend. Alright, there we go. That's 3 crystal gems and 1 cassette. We're making good progress. Anyway, who else can we talk about? Well, I briefly... Oh, Ingrid. Ingrid, of course, Ingrid. So... Oh, Ingrid. Is she... How am I supposed to get there? Hold on. Am I missing something? Oh, there's a spring above me. That's what I'm missing. I'm like, I feel like I'm missing something. Yeah, Ingrid... I remember quite liking her character in my Blue Lions playthrough, but then I kind of realized she's a racist, and that, like, docks her a substantial number of points. Like, if I recall, based on our few interactions with her in the Black Eagle playthrough, she is kind of the girl meathead of the group. She, like Raphael, and, like... Who am I forgetting? Who's our other meathead in this group? Well... Caspar. Caspar, Raphael, she's definitely a noble's daughter, but she loves food. And I also love food. And I guess I bonded with her over that, maybe? I don't know. Again, my memory of her characters will unfortunately be limited by the fact we haven't really done much with her in our playthrough. We recruited her and then put her in the barracks, put her in the barracks and moved on with our lives, pretty much. Aside from her paralog that gives you a really good lance. Okay, that shouldn't have been as difficult as it was, but my brain and the ghost hotel just do not mesh. Anyway, I think we're about halfway there, Kiwi. Who else? I guess I should mention Mercedes. Weird, I don't actually see her on this. Oh, you know what? So for reference, the list that I'm using is a really strange creepypasta almost of all the 3 houses characters, but with their faces edited to look like Mercedes. So she's not in this list because everyone is Mercedes. Anyway, I'm gonna send that to you today, and you're gonna be like, why? And I will respond, well, why did someone do the exact same thing but with LORENZ's face and make it far worse? They also edited in other video game characters in here, like there's Joker from Persona 5. Oh, okay. Well, There's gotta be something here. Ah. Is there a secret tunnel in this hole? Well, I kind of already know because I saw the video, but I forgot briefly. But I swear I didn't realize it was this close to the starting area. Wait, okay, I have to use the transition technique. Or the screen transition to reset my jumps. I know what I need to do. Just do that. There we go. Cool. Alright, I think what I need to do... This is some fancy platforming. Yeah, I believe I need to get under that and then go up and latch onto it. Anywho, yeah, so look forward to that nightmare fuel that I'm going to send you later. There are some that are just upsetting. Also, they decided to, like, they fused all the names, so, like, instead of it being LORENZ, it's MERLENZ. Or, I can't... LORENZ is what they went with. Okay. Almost got that one. Anyway, onto the Golden Deer. So, like I mentioned before, Golden Deer is the house that we have touched the least, but in both my playthroughs, I ended up recruiting most of their members, and you recruited all of their members except for Hilda and Claude, for obvious reasons, so we're pretty familiar with them to a degree. I'd say you've had more interactions with them than the Blue Lions characters, honestly. Probably because they're just... they're all a bunch of interesting characters with fundamental flaws in each, that make them... Well, all the characters of this game are like that, I suppose. But anyway, there's our crystal. Hooray. I digress. So, Claude I really like. He's hard to take seriously in a lot of ways. But I've always had I always like the cunning, resourceful, tactician-y type of characters, and they do a good job of portraying him that way, I would say. Like, he comes up with plans, and I wish he would, this is going more on Three Hopes than on Three Houses, but he doesn't necessarily always seem the best at communicating his plans with his allies, which is a problem. But I find him a fun character. I find him an implicitly fun character, and again, I think I tried to mention this in a previous episode and then got distracted. If we were talking about, like, if these guys were actually college kids, he would always be the guy running board game night, and he would destroy everyone. I guess the question is, who would compete against Claude in board game night and actually come out on top? Few people, I fear. Violet could probably, Edelgard could probably. Right, I remember, I need to grab onto that ledge. Oops. Not feeling this room quite right. There we go, speedrun! Oh, that was different. I'm trying to wave dash, I promise. I can do this. Down and... Oh, nope, timing was wrong. Well, I'm just gonna do the lazy way. Maybe not. Oh well. I can't be fancy today, it's fine. I don't have to be fancy every day, I'm fancy most days. Still punished every time. Anyway, let's see. I digress. Lysithea is a character that I both like and dislike. I think her, like, main character motivation of working really hard because she's desperately trying to find a way to save her own life, I appreciate that in her. Her backstory is fundamentally interesting, and I like that it has a parallel to Edelgard's own story. She was experimented on by the bad guys of the story, those who slither in the dark, to... she was experimented on by those who slither in the dark to be given an extra crest, or a crest that she shouldn't have normally had. And I think her trying to break away from what they did to her is fundamentally interesting. And it adds a layer of nuance to the otherwise just very motivated and intelligent character that she is. I don't enjoy how aggressively she is, like, not a child, not a child, not a child, and like how sensitive she is, because it happens too often, I guess, and so it gets a little overplayed, and I think she's more interesting and deserves better than that. I do appreciate her appreciation for sweets, though. She's another one, like, if I was the teacher, I would bake for everyone who likes sweets, and even those who don't, probably. Maybe I just cook for those who don't. This feels like a good room to practice speedrun Tekken. Oh, alright, hold on, we're just speedrunning this, come on. Ah, took the I did the short hop there by accident. This game is so good to speedrun. That felt so good. I know I wasn't great, but I remember struggling in this room quite a bit. Making quick work of it now, though. I mean, after completing the B-side of Chapter 4, can anything ever be as difficult as that? Probably not. Oh man, this feels so good. Come on. Oh! I accidentally took the diagonal on that, unfortunate. But that looked convincing for a moment that I really knew what I was doing. And now I don't. Yeah, I clearly do not know what I'm actually doing. Alright, I'm trying to do this again, because that felt so good to pull off. I give up. Alright, back to conversating. Back to conversating, Kiwi. Me and my hubris. Anyway, so yeah, and before I move on from Lucithia, she is an absolute monster of a unit. I love that we unlock her and she can immediately just end Yuritsa. Well, she has to unlock Dark Spikes, but still. The fact that she can one-shot one of the most threatening enemies in the game, in the early game, and she only continues to improve from there. Like, she's an absolute glass cannon, but in Fire Emblem, I mean, if everything dies, what's the problem if glass cannons are around? They're not gonna die. Everything else dies first. And that is Lucithia. Kill everything before it kills her. And I know I briefly mentioned Hilda, but I have to say again, like, Hilda surprised us. We didn't think we would like her, but the more we got to know her, the more we did. She's definitely got I wouldn't say Valley Girl, but she definitely has, like, the girly tropes that neither of us are super a fan of. But also, she is, like, carving people down with an axe, chanting her name. She's funny. And she and Claude would make up, like, the sassiest table. Maybe toss in a Dorothea, and you have the sassiest table at the lunchroom. I don't know why I'm going for an analogy like that. Alright. If I had to say my least favorite character in this game, though, unfortunately, I think it's gotta be Leonie. She is so uncomfortably obsessed with your father. Like, the only thing she says is JERALT. Sorry, I had to restart this section because I think I missed something. Yeah, there it is. There is a strawberry in here. I may as well grab it while I'm here, you know? No, or not, you know. Oh, I bet if I grab it from this side, now it'll launch me up as it travels upward. Perfect. Okay, and that's how we get to that strawberry. Fair enough. Die the same way. Okay. Anyway, I punched the mic. Let's keep talking. So, yeah, I like Hilda. And I particularly like Hilda in the context of her older brother, Holst. Their relationship is hilarious. Mind you. Oh, okay, I see what I need to do. There we go. Well, there we almost went. You have to, like, jump out of that immediately. And I think I'll just hang on to this and fall. And there we go. Okay. Cool. Anyway, so Hilda and Holst are quite the pair. Holst instead of have that aggressively overprotective brother aesthetic going for them, and it's so funny to watch them and what Hilda has to go through to deal with them both. And I think my favorite interaction with Holst would have to have been when you're in three hopes. He's an actual playable character, so you get support logs with him. And there's one where there was, I forget the exact dialogue, but it was something along the lines of Holst saying there's nothing that I could ever do to make him angry at you, and he said, and you respond with, what if I asked Hilda out? And he just goes silent, but the drawing, the face that they give him in the dialogue box is aggressively angry. It is so funny. Yeah, like, Holst and Sedith are just the overbearing, protective family character, and it's really funny to see how they interact with their siblings and how those siblings respond. Flayn Flayn is definitely bothered by Sedith being kind of a helicopter dad, but Hilda's way fightier, and so her responses to Holst being overprotective is much funnier. Anyway, who else? Marianne. Marianne is a very interesting character, and I don't think we've gotten enough support logs to fully understand the scope of her character. I know she has suffered some substantial traumas because of her crest, but we haven't really found out why yet. So I'm looking forward to learning more about her, but I quite like her personality traits in terms of how much she loves her horse, Dorte, and I think she likes animals in general, which is always appreciated by us animal enthusiastic folk. Kiwi and I quite love our aminals, except when they vomit on our couch, then we have some strongly worded complaints, but you know. Who doesn't? Who doesn't complain about their animal when they vomit on their belongings and things of that nature? I digress. Yeah, Hilda ended up being way more interesting than either of us gave her credit for. Oh, right, I was going to complain about Leonie more. So Leonie, her biggest character trait is how obsessed she is with JERALT, and it's not interesting, honestly. It's annoying. Like, she has some support combos where she doesn't talk about JERALT at all, and those are her best moments, because we get to see her as her character, not her character without JERALT, or with JERALT. Like, I get it. He trained her, and my goodness, is she crushing on him? Or so it feels. That, or she's just extraordinarily grateful, which I get if that's the case. But it doesn't need to be everything she says, but it is. And like even post time skip, the majority of her conversations are about JERALT. Well, that's how it feels, at least. I did like in Three Hopes, she has a really interesting support log with Hilda, actually, where Hilda tries to get Leonie a perfume that she'd like, and Leonie is a meathead, so she's not really big on looking pretty, smelling nice, that sort of stuff. But it was a really nice bonding interaction that they have, so like there is room for Leonie to be an interesting character, but it feels like if you take JERALT away, she has lost one of her biggest character traits. Or one of her most common talking points, if not, you know? So, that's my opinion on Leonie. I find her a degree of disappointing, if nothing else. How am I supposed to do this? Oh, okay, I gotcha. So I probably have to dash into this. Yeah, that gives me enough time. Okay, fair enough. I see. Okay. And then we come to our favorite character to just absolutely take the piss out of, just like Claude. LORENZ HELLMEN GLOUCESTER. And how could I ever forget that name? He always tells us it. LORENZ is what Ferdinand would be if you couldn't love Ferdinand. LORENZ will never know. No, that's not true. LORENZ is objectively an asshole when you first meet him. A womanizing, overly confident failure of a noble. Oh my goodness, he would be so mad. But honestly, his support logs with all of the women just telling him to stop it have been some of the best, the funniest support logs in the game. LORENZ is so full of himself, it's not even funny. Actually, it's hilarious. Because he always gets punished for it, and he deserves to be, because he is a genuine jerk, especially early on in the game. And I am happy that he learns from his mistakes and becomes a better person over time. But every moment someone takes the piss out of LORENZ is a wonderful moment for us. But he's just... We'll never marry LORENZ. But we watched a bunch of the marriage support logs, or like the proposal support logs, and of course he name drops at the end of his marriage, because when would a most heartfelt moment like that end without him name dropping? Oh my god, LORENZ. Like, you could be so much better than you are, LORENZ, and you're not. And you probably never will be. I mean, he got a little bit better, again, post-time skip, but he's still LORENZ. Proud, extremely proud and very true. Oh dear. Ooh, this is a long room. Oh, that was unfortunate timeline and hiccup. Anyway, and I mean, I have to mention, I got you a mug with LORENZ on it for your birthday, and it is like the most cursed thing. There are a lot of cursed Fire Emblem memes out there, but I am so glad I got this one on a mug, just for you for your birthday. And now you have to live with it. But what you have to live with more is the fact that I narrated kind of like a sales pitch for this mug in an uncomfortably deep, gravelly voice. Maybe not gravelly, but deep voice. And yeah, that will also forever be haunting your nightmares. Not just the mug, but the aftermath of the mug. Which is such a strange comment out of context. Anyway, moving on from our dear noble lord son, Raphael. Okay, Raphael was another character that on first impression I was not very interested in. I mean, he is muscles and meat, and I would feel like Leone, that's kind of the crux of his character trait. But he's got some nuance to him between his interactions with his sister, his interactions with, Ignatz. Given Ignatz is immeasurably sad that Raphael lost his parents, and he feels as though he's in part to blame because his parents are still alive. But Ignatz is just a really happy muffin. He's a meat. I called him the meat muffin. He is a good boy with a heart of gold and many muscles, and I think he would be happy with that description. All right, I'm gonna do this. Got it. There we go. All right, I think there's only one more chapter until we get all the gems. Yeah, this is chapter 5. We got the gem on this one. Yeah, we did. I have short-term memory problems, don't I, Kiwi? Anyway, I like Raph. He's simple, but I don't know. I feel like me saying I like Raph is kind of being unfair to Leone, because Raph is very much a one-note character, too, in a lot of ways, and Leone has more nuance than just being obsessed with JERALT. I don't know. I find... Maybe it's just I find people being romanceable, or people being attracted to your father and then non-stop talking about how they're attracted to your father just comes off kind of creepy, I guess. I don't know. Leone's writing is just uncomfortable to me. Whereas Raphael, I mean, he may lack some intrigue, but he's not hitting on our father, you know? But I guess the only one left from the Golden Deer House would be Ignatz, right? So, all right, we got it. We got the pink sunrise. We finally got the crystal heart, which means we can escape. We can leave. Hooray! We're done. We got everything. Woo! Which means in the next episode, I'm gonna have to do the Summit B-side, which means we're gonna have to take everything that I've already learned and apply it. And that sounds rough. But I'm very curious to see where that takes us. Anyway, brief note on Ignatz. I like his character. I like that he's a painter that has to be a knight for the sake of his family and for his I mean, the world just wouldn't allow him to be a painter in his time, but I'm very hopeful after the war is over, he gets to retire to being an artist and a painter. And I like that even if he can't really pursue that passion, he still gets to do it a little bit in his support logs and while he's at the monastery. He's a good boy. He's definitely a muffin, but his haircut, man, his haircut. I bet it would look better if you put Dorothea's hat on it. Maybe not. Anyway, Kiwi, I hope you've enjoyed watching, and if you're awake, I hope this is helping you fall asleep. Forgot my line, sorry. And if you're asleep, I hope you're sleeping well. I love you, and in the next one, we're going to take on the Chapter 7 B-side, and I'm going to probably lose my mind when I have to do more of that Chapter 4 platforming. Yay! Are you looking for more Cloud existentialism? Because I sure am. I love you. I'll see you in the next one.